So we've talked about picking the perfect gown for your system and for your age group. Now we've got to talk about how to pick the perfect gown for your body type. I know we're kind of overlapping a lot of this stuff, but really it's all about finding a perfect storm of a gown. A gown that's great for your system, great for your age group, great for your body type, coloring, and then everything else we're going to cover. So when we're talking about body type, there are so many beautiful women out there, and we all have different body types, whether we're petite or tall, maybe more curvy or very, very thin. Everyone needs to find a perfect gown for their body type. And there are those gowns out there, something that will flatter every type of body. So let's talk about how to identify which is the perfect gown for you.
First of all, can I say that I've loved seeing petite contestants on stage and on a national stage for that matter. Just gonna throw that out there.
Well, it's shattered everything. I think historically, just like in modeling, it's if you're not 5'8" or taller,
no chance.
No chance, don't even bother, you're too short. And we still, unfortunately, hear a lot of negative feedback from people of saying, oh, that contestant's too short, she's not gonna do any well. And I would just like to point out my my love, Betty Thompson, who I think is fantastic, was, what, 5'2", petite, first runner-up at Miss America 2012.
Go Betty.
Fantastic. So I think she is one of the examples of shattering the notion that you have to be, you know, glamazon at 5'10" to be able to do well in a pageant.
Right. And you and I are title holders, and, you know, we might not be the tallest women on stage, but...
Straighter.
Yeah, exactly. But in 6-inch heels, you know,
anybody.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
Right. Can add that.
So how do you lengthen your height or appear taller than you are when you're on stage? What kind of dresses do you look for?
Well, first I want to say, going back to Betty Thompson, I think her gown, and if all on the internet, Google Betty Thompson's Miss America gown, because even right now when you and I are picking gowns, her pageant gown is something I am trying very hard to emulate, because she looked sky high in that gown. It was a strapless gown. It had a dip in the middle, kind of bunched here, and then went down, but it didn't, to my recollection, have a slit. There was something about it. She just looked statuesque and tall. And for me, that's the key to a gown. If you're trying to lengthen yourself, it's a gown that, well, there's two ways to go about it, in my opinion. You can have a slit. If you have very long legs, it depends on your body type. You can have a slit, brings the focus onto your legs. Or what I like to do is actually a gown with no slit, something that's fitted all the way down, because then I can pump myself up with some nice 6-inch heels that aren't showing to the world and are hid under there. We'll get into heels in a second, but I go to gowns that are long and lean.
Yeah.
But one other key is there's lots of great gowns that have sashes or a different color. Belts maybe.
Right.
I stay away from those because
really?
those, I've found that they break up kind of the line that you're, and it cuts you off somewhere that's not flattering if you're not 5'8" or higher.
Yeah. Well, I love a good empire waist gown. I have a shorter torso and a little bit of a longer leg, so it just works for my body type. And if you have the illusion of a longer leg, you're just going to look taller overall on stage, and that's what the slits also allow for. You know, if you are very confident in that part of your body, go for it.
Go for it.
It will pay dividends on stage.
But that's a really great point. You're talking about torso and long legs. Just because, you know, even if you're 5'2" or 5'4", it doesn't mean you're the same 5'2" or 5'4".
Yeah, exactly.
Some people have legs that go on for days.
Right.
But they're only, 5'2", and others have very, very long torsos, but not very long legs. So you want to keep that in mind. If you don't have very long legs and you're petite, don't go with a gown that has a slit that's meant to show off long legs.
Right.
Really, really focus. It's not just about the number. It's about how your body is built. There's, again, ways to flatter it. Something that has no slit where you can just kind of look long and lean will be much more flattering if you're petite and have a long torso but short legs.
Yeah, along those same lines, I would never wear a gown just based on my body type and based on my height that has a drop waist.
Oh, right.
And if you're taller and need to add some proportion, you're long-waisted and have long legs, or you're short-waisted and have long legs, that's going to be a great choice for you. But for me, that would mean that the waist would be all the way down to my hips, and then my legs would be shortened.
Right.
Completely opposite of what you're trying to achieve.
We get into this in accessories, but there's lots of things that you can alter on a gown. But when you're talking about a drop waist, that's not something that is easily altered. You can, hem the bottom of a gown, but if it's something that is right in the middle of the gown, it's harder to hem up or shorten or change. So it's really, really, really important to know what type of cut looks great. And I think also if you're petite, depending on the rest of the gown, halter dresses can also, again, if you have a longer neck, halter gown can make you look taller. It can elongate your neck, make you look a little more statuesque than otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, both Allie and I love halter style gowns. My gown at Miss United States in 2009 was a gold and red halter dress, and it had gold beading at the top, was a bright red all the way down to the bottom from my waist, and had a slit. So it had everything that I wanted. Like you said, it's the perfect storm of a gown. It was great for my system, the color looks great on me, and the style made me look inches taller than I really am.
Speaking of slits, there are some things never to do. Like
slits?
Yeah, like a knee-high slit. Don't ever go a knee-high slit. Don't. And if
wait, what are we talking about here? I've never heard of a knee-high slit. Explain.
Well, welcome to my world. My first pageant, which if you've read my bio on the site, my worst pageant mistake was everything I did at Miss California USA 2004. Like literally across the board, everything. One of those everythings was a gold evening gown. It was a halter. Got that part right. The fabric was meh. But it had a slit that went literally up to my knee. Yeah, exactly. This is my first pageant. I didn't know enough to know to cut that.
Accentuate your ankle or your calf.
Well, when you're talking about a knee-high slit, it doesn't even open enough. So, it's just like, somebody cut that poor girl's dress up to her knee. It's not flattering, but I've seen girls since then with knee-high slit. I have. No. I felt a certain level of camaraderie.
We're going to chalk that up to maybe the times, the decade. Maybe it was the 90s kind of style. I don't know. It
was 2004.
Apparently my math was a little wrong.
Apparently she thinks I'm way older.
Oh, I thought you said you were in your teen competition.
No, this is a miss.
Okay.
This is my first one, but this is 18, and lesson learned, I should have competed in miss, or in teen. But I thought I was miss, and all weekend everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna do so good in teen."
Like, I'm
a miss. It's not good. But slits and the positioning of slits. I've had gowns, and I don't know if you have. I've had gowns that actually have a center slit.
My gown at Miss United States was a center slit. Loved it.
Yeah, most people don't know what to do with center slits because it's not something that your leg is kind of popping out of, but I think center slits can be fantastic if you're petite, and they're cut to the right height. You don't want them cut too tall. So if you are petite, make sure that you have that tailored, because a lot of gowns are designed for 5'8", 5'9" women to wear. So if you have a center slit, it could go too high if you don't have it adjusted.
And you think of where the judges are.
Right.
They're often downstage.
Down and lower.
I don't think we need to comment anymore on that.
But okay, so positioning of the judges is something that I really take into consideration when picking the gown and the slit and the cut. A lot of bridal stores or gown shops, a lot of bridal shops will have gowns. They have like pedestals that you can stand on that are slightly raised. And I actually have someone take a picture from a little bit lower angle because the judges aren't on stage with you even. They are below the stage. Yeah. And so they're looking kind of up to you. So you want to make sure that the view is flattering from that angle. What might look great straight on may not look as great from that angle. So there's all these things you have to take into consideration that you would never know if you haven't done this before. I never thought about where the judges would be sitting when I first thought about my gown.
Yeah.
But
it's important.
But they saw my knee at Miss California. And
got a good look at that knee.
I also wanted to touch on why tailoring is so important. Tailoring can take your dress from mediocre to amazing. Once your dress is tailored, it will fit your body perfectly, regardless of the size that was on the tag when you bought it. In fact, I typically purchase my gowns 1 to 2 sizes too big for my body so that I can have it tailored to perfection. If you get the size that you typically wear off the rack, you don't have a lot of extra fabric to work with. Another tip is to bring the shoes that you are going to wear to the pageant to the tailor with you, because this will help the tailor determine the height needed for your hemline. So make sure you don't switch your shoes at the last minute because your hemline may be too long or too short. I have done this. Big mistake.
Okay guys, that's it for this training video. We really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, that's awesome because we have so much more great pageant instructional content just waiting for you. In fact, we put together an awesome training course called The Secrets to Mastering Your Onstage Question. Now the best thing about this course is it's not only going to show you how to master your onstage question, but it's also going to show you how to really step up your game during the interview portion of your competition. And we all know how important interview is, right? Now here's the good news, is getting this training course is super simple and completely free. But you do have to be part of our exclusive email subscriber list, so you have to make sure to sign up. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is click the hyperlink below this video, and it's going to take you back to our website where you can enter in your email address and get immediate access to the course. If you're watching this video on another site, make sure to go back to pageantprofessors.com and you'll be able to opt in right from the homepage. Now, as always, we value your privacy, so you don't have to worry about us selling your email address or spamming you. All we're going to do is make sure that we're giving you the latest updates on the greatest pageant instruction that we have. So go ahead, sign up, and I'll see you on the other side.